Julian Janvier, Tariq Fosu, Luke Daniels, Jan Zamburek and Mad Roerslev. And for Fulham, it's Marcus Bettinelli, Kevin McDonald, Stefan Johansson, Alexander Mitrovic, as previously mentioned, Ivan Cavallero, Maxime Lemarchand, Cyrus Christie, Anthony Knockout and Steven Sessegnon. When you look at that Fulham bench, there is a few players on there, isn't there, that could come on and have a massive impact. And would you agree that maybe their bench looks a little bit stronger than Brentford's? Is that something that could have an impact today?
Potentially, that's something that could have an impact as the game goes on. But when we commented in the second leg of the semi-final just a few days ago, Brentford didn't actually make any substitutions until quite late on in the match anyway. So potentially they'll be quite happy to go with their starting 11. Fulham do have a lot of experience in the bench. They've obviously got Mitrovic, who we've talked about. Cavallero will be unhappy to be missing the start of this match. He's somebody who has a lot of talent, a lot of ability in one-on-one situations as well. And Anthony Knockaert still was a forward option for teams. He never lets teams down when he comes on for them.
Seeing that statistic on your screen. For those of you watching us on YouTube, by the way, if you head over to the Hot Mic app, download it, use the promo code TFA2020, and you can sync our commentary with your television pictures. We're following the game on Sky Sports main event here in the UK. You can try syncing any streams with any other providers. If that doesn't work automatically, then feel free to use the manual adjustment buttons on your screen, and we will look to provide you with as many markers as we possibly can throughout the 90 minutes. If you're watching us in the live chat and you need us to give you a timestamp at any point in the game whatsoever, feel free to drop us a message, and as soon as I see it, I'll be sure to do that. It's the Championship playoff final live from Wembley this evening. I'm joined by Lee Scott. We're delighted to be with you guys, and this is a game with a lot riding on it tonight. Brentford in a change strip this evening. They're wearing a sort of navy blue with gold trimmings, white shorts and blue socks. Fulham in their traditional white shirts, black shorts and white socks. They're going to kick from left to right as we prepare to get underway. Players take the knee in support of the Black Lives Matter campaign. Martin Atkinson is the man in the middle this evening. They're ready to get underway here now. Fulham are going to kick us off, and we're off here. Here's Tim Ream at the back for Fulham. To Michael Hector. Ream gets it back. Huge game here at Wembley. Who will strike first? How are you expecting this one to go, Lee? Are you expecting a cagey affair? Are you expecting nerves to play a part here?
Nerves potentially, but I don't think that Brentford know how to play in a cagey manner, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that they will have worked a lot out their system with that win the other night after obviously failing to gain automatic promotion when it was in their hands with 2 games to go. They were potentially feeling the nerves then. I think hopefully now that they're on a bit of a high with momentum behind them. Fulham, on the other hand, will also come into this game. Obviously, they held on a little bit in their second leg against Cardiff City. But they're coming to this game, as you say, with more experience. They were recently in this game. They were the team promoted to the Premier League 2 years ago via the playoff final. So it'll be interesting to see how that balances out over the 90 minutes.
Brentford have the first free kick of the game here. A long way out. It's certainly not within shooting distance. But Matthias Jensen stands over it. We know what a good quality delivery he is capable of. A couple of Brentford players just standing in offside positions at the moment. Ball's played out towards the right side of Fulham's penalty area. They sort of half got it clear. It's come back, and eventually it's Michael Hector who kicks it up the park. It's gone out for a Brentford throw-in on this near side around about the halfway line, which of course Rico Henry will take. To Josh Da Silva. Back to Pontus Jansson. Former Leeds United man, of course. Played forward in towards Ollie Watkins, but Fulham cut it out. They're in possession now. Tom Kearney just having to fight a battle there to keep hold of the ball. Symeou was on his case. There's Kearney again, gets ahead to it this time, but the ball comes all the way back to Ethan Pinnock in the Burnley defence. Out to Rico Henry. Pinnock extremely comfortable on the ball, isn't he, Lee? Someone to look out for.
Yeah, he's an excellent ball playing centre half. He's very comfortable. He likes to step out in possession as well. Don't be surprised if you see him at some point pop up on the left wing, such as the legs that he'll go to get forward in possession. And that's something that a lot of teams are doing more now, as centre halves are becoming more comfortable on the ball as they develop differently through youth systems. Now you're seeing them with the time when their team are under pressure. It's often the centre halves who have the time to progress the ball. So having a player like the two centre halves that Brentford have, and Pontus Jansson and Ethan Pinnock, it's really important to be able to get the ball forward, to get the ball to them early, to allow them to take it forward.
Fulham dispossessed deep in their own half there by Said Benrahma. Josh Da Silva's in possession now. Rico Henry making the overlapping run on the outside, but Josh Da Silva comes back inside, gets it back off Ethan Pinnock, and Brentford have been forced back here. Fulham got behind the ball really quickly there, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and that's something that'll be important for them. They'll have been well drilled through the week. They know that Brentford attack at speed and in numbers, so it's important they get their defensive block set early.
Here is Onoma for Fulham, strikes from range. Good save by David Raya down to his left-hand side. First action of the game for the Brentford goalkeeper. It's good work from Josh Onoma, picks the ball up in the centre circle, drives forward for Fulham. Little step over to beat Pinnock. It was always going to take something special from that sort of distance though, wasn't it?
It was indeed, but good to see Raya holding the ball as well. That's something that'd be important for his backline. Josh Onham is a player who has that ability to beat players centrally in one-on-one situations. He was very highly rated at Spurs. His career's kind of stalled a little bit, but now doing well with Fulham and hoping to get back into the Premier League one way or another, I think.
Here is Josh Da Silva just dropping deep to get on the ball, particularly on this left-hand side. Seems to be a lot more comfortable there.
Yeah, and that's just a function of Brentford's build-up. You see on the right-hand side, Dalsgaard stays a lot deeper. But the left-back, Rico Henry, will go high as soon as Brentford get the ball, and that's why Da Silva drops into that area, just to give an option, if you like, to help them progress the ball forward.
And Rama trying to get past Dennis Adoy there, taking one to the face. Certainly no intention or any malice in the incident, but Said Benrahma's come off a bit of a sore one. Here is Pontus Jansson. Pinnock plays it forward in search of Watkins, who's made a run in behind. Can he retrieve this? Ollie Watkins, he does. Does brilliantly to keep it in play. He's got Michael Hector for company. Gives it back to Benrahma. One-on-one with Dennis Adoy here. Teammates come to help him out. Understandably so. Benrahma is a tricky customer.
He certainly is. His ability in 1-on-1, 1-on-2, even 1-on-3 situations, sometimes he can twist and turn and beat players, and watch out for him driving inside on that right foot. He likes to bend the ball towards the back post. But we have to talk about Ollie Watkins' work rate in that instance when the ball was played. It looked like a dead ball he was chasing, but he never gave up, and he ended up getting to the ball first and then being able to shield it from the defender as well. That was great work from the striker.
He was sensational in the semi-final, particularly in the second leg, wasn't he?
He certainly was.
It was a brilliant individual performance.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a better performance from a forward this season. He was everywhere. His work rate was incredible. He showed composure when he scored his goal. He showed a good touch. He showed creativity as well. It's everything you want in a forward player today.
Agreed. Here is Benrahma. He's brought down, and this free kick is within shooting distance. It's Michael Hector who has conceded it for Fulham. Ollie Watkins is knocked down, picked up by Benrahma, and then he was caught by Michael Hector just outside of the Fulham penalty area. Skips past Hector, doesn't he? He's a big man, but he just couldn't adjust his body in time to make the challenge, and he's ended up conceding a free kick.
A dangerous position as well, a good position for Brentford. They'll be looking to make something happen here.
Mbeumo stands over it, as does Said Benrahma, but Mbeumo is left-footed, isn't he, Lee, which may suit a little bit better from this angle.
Yeah, exactly. Brentford like to play with wingers who on their opposite sides, if you like. So Benrahma is right-footed, but plays in the left wing when he can cut inside. The same for Mbeumo, playing from the right-hand side, but being left-footed.
Both players look poised as if they're going to strike the ball. I think it's going to be Mbeumo. It is, and it's straight into the wall. Ball comes back to Benrahma, though. Looks to stand it up towards the far post. The cross took a deflection and ended up back in the hands of Marek Rodak, who plays a long, early ball forward towards Kamara there, who was chasing it, but ball's found its way all the way back to David Raya, and Brentford can breathe a sigh of relief.
Very composed from Raya there as the ball started bouncing. He's already outside his penalty area. I think a few Brentford fans had their hearts in their mouths there.
I'm sure they did. Flicked on there by Matthias Jensen. It's ended up back with the Fulham goalkeeper, who's in no rush. Here is Tim Ream.
I think Fulham will look to slow the game down a little bit at this stage. They're aware that Brentford, if they get momentum, if they get to play at the pace that they're used to, they can be very difficult to contain. Fulham will be quite happy to slow things down and progress the ball a little bit more slowly, try to tease Brentford out towards them.
To plays it forward. Out towards this right-hand side where Neeskens Cabano had pulled out, but he was never going to keep that in, and Brentford have a throw-in. Seems as though the Fulham front line is constantly changing. We saw Bobby Reed starting through the middle, and then we saw Kamara move out there, and it seems like Cabano as well. They're very sort of interchangeable, the three. Mistakes here at the back from Brentford, allowing Fulham potentially to create an opportunity. The ball's come to Josh Onoma, lays it off towards Cabano, but Josh Da Silva got back just in time.
That wasn't a great example of defending from this Brentford side, who, don't forget, had one of the best defensive records in the Championship last time. You certainly expect to see more from them, but it was Pontus Jansson who made the mistake in the playoff semi-final when he tried to backheel the ball away and it just dropped to Ryan Brewster's feet. Again, now you can see Brentford players tripping over themselves, trying to be a little bit too cute and clever and clearing the ball, and sometimes you just need to control things and get the ball away from the danger area a little bit more quickly than that.
This is not the day for mistakes, is it? This is not the day to be the man who cost your team a goal.
Well, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? It's such fine margins at this level. Any game, any moment can change the game completely throughout the whole 90 minutes. And there's no way back after this match.
Indeed. This game means so much to both sides. Been a long old slog in the Championship this season. 46 games, plus the break in between. Whoever comes out of this with promotion in the bag will be pretty pleased with themselves, and rightly so. Here is Said Benrahma looking to create some space. Norgard was caught there in the penalty area, maybe. To see that again, he went down. Martin Atkinson had none of it. Here's Benrahma.
I think the fact he got up again so quickly suggests that there wasn't anything in it. Maybe he just stumbled a little.
Yeah, perhaps. Certainly didn't convince Martin Atkinson anyway. Here's Benrahma in towards Ollie Watkins. It's the defender that gets ahead to the ball though, and it bounces in the Fulham penalty area for Marek Rodak to gather.
And that was a key area for Benrahma. We need to see Benrahma getting the ball in those areas for Brentford in the half space where he's able to pick the ball up and make things happen.
Norgard was caught there, but it looked as though it was outside of the penalty area, if anything.
Yeah, just outside.
Here is Tom Kearney receiving the ball for Fulham. Turns and then lays it off to Michael Hector. Tom Kearney, a willing receiver, isn't he, in those sort of areas?
Always. He's very comfortable on the ball, great technical ability. I think that a lot of people were quite disappointed at how Fulham played with Kearney in the team last season in the Premier League when they got relegated. He'd made a huge impression in their promotion campaign. A lot of people were expecting bigger things. But he seems to have found his form a little bit again over the last 6 months in the midfield. Always willing to take possession no matter where he is.
Here he is again. Ball from Joe Bryan there, just cut out. Fulham have a throw in. Thomas Frank barking out instructions to his team. What a job he's done this season.
Yeah, fantastic. Again, there were a lot of Brentford fans, or some of them at least, who were starting to think it was time to move on from the coach at the beginning of the season when Brentford started poorly.
Here come Fulham again, though. Again, the ball pinging around inside the Brentford penalty area. This time it was Josh Onoma with a half chance. Got to take them when they come along, particularly in a game of this magnitude. And you can bet that this man on your screens now will be wishing he was out there.
You have to wonder if Fulham don't go up, whether Mitrovic will still be at the club next season. I'm sure there are a number of teams across Europe who'd be quite interested in a striker that could score 26 goals at this level.
Michael Hector there with a loose touch and having to get down on the ground to get himself out of a mess. Ollie Watkins putting him under pressure again. Fulham escape. Here's Tom Kearney into Onoma. Out to this right-hand side where we'll find Nayskins Cabano. 1-on-1 with Rico Henry. Looks to go past him. Looks to cross, but Henry gets a block in. Gone out for a Fulham ball. I'm not sure if it went out for a throw or a corner kick. Unfortunately, we are, I guess, at the mercy of the replays and of the camera angles. Looks as though it's a corner. Not quite the same commentating from TV, but the sign of the times that we're in.
Definitely. Much rather be in the stadium. I'm sure most people would echo those sentiments, though.
For sure. As Reed prepares to take this corner for Fulham. 13 minutes on the clock. Goalless here at Wembley in the Championship playoff final between Brentford and Fulham. Delivered into the penalty area. Right-footed. It's Pontus Jansson who gets ahead to that. Tom Kearney will pick it up facing his own goal. Here is Joe Bryan into Kamara. To Bryan. To Tim Ream. Now Harrison Reed. To Kearney. Not sure if that pass was meant for Odoi or Reed, but Odoi got on the end of it anyway. The ball's back with the Fulham goalkeeper now. Long ball forward from the goalkeeper towards the left. It's gone out for a throw in. Kamara giving his goalkeeper an applause as if to say, I should have been there. Well, he wasn't.
That was very, very poor from the goalkeeper. Right, hit a target from that distance, and even that's difficult enough, but he overshot it by some way.
Did indeed, as Rico Henry plays this one forward in search of Ollie Watkins, but Dennis Odoi was there. Not sure what the referee's given here. The flag was up, I think, against Ollie Watkins. Means it's going to be a Fulham free kick.
He's offside, I think. We're already seeing signs that Fulham, the way they build up, they like to cycle the ball across the back four. They're looking for opportunities to play the ball out to the full backs, then get the ball forward to the wide players as quickly as possible. Brentford, on the other hand, look to play through the thirds a little bit more. They'll look to occupy central areas and possession a bit more and break through that way.
Here is Said Benrahma. Rico Henry coming forward there, but Dennis Odoi is going to get there just in the nick of time, then plays it back in field to Harrison Reed. Here's Bobby. Another Reed. Only spelt slightly differently. Here's Tom Kearney. Fulham pretty happy to have the ball in these sort of areas. Brentford pretty happy to let them have it.
Yeah, at the moment, I would imagine we'll see Brentford trigger their more high press as the half goes on a little bit. Quite often you'll see teams like Brentford who are a little bit more nuanced in the way that they look to press out of possession. They'll have periods where they press aggressively and then they'll drop off just to keep the opposition guessing more than anything else.
Here's Kamara out to Cabano. Kamara continues his run. He's going to receive the ball. Got Josh Da Silva for company, but lays it off to Cabano. Plays it in infield. Kearney with a lovely reverse ball in towards Onoma. It's a good shot and it's a good save from David Raya down to his right-hand side.
That was an excellent save. I think Pontus Jansson then hit the ball back off the goalkeeper again before it was cleared.
Fulham are certainly the ones looking more threatening at the moment.
Definitely.
It's a couple of saves now that David Raya has had to make. That one was a pretty good one. Here's Nayskins Cabano. 1-on-1 with Rico Henry again. Looks to go past him on the outside again. Looks to fashion the space for the cross. Gets it into the penalty area. There was Bobby Reed coming across the front post. But again, David Raya collects. Just see Reed making that movement in behind Pontus Jansson, I think it was. To be fair to Jansson, he looked as if he knew where the forward was. But yeah, he has kicked it back against David Raya, hasn't he?
He did,
unbelievable. That could have gone horribly wrong.
Bit surprising. Brentford are usually very composed defensively. They look like there are some nerves in the team this evening.
Certainly does at the moment. Here is Tim Ream.
Here we now you see Brentford triggering their high press a little bit more. Norsgaard and Jensen were pushing forward to try and win possession back quickly.
Here is Tom Kearney. Dennis Odoi for Fulham.
Dennis Odoi doesn't seem to be moving forward even beyond the halfway line at right back for Fulham. Potentially a sign that Fulham are fully aware of the danger that side Benrahma poses on the break.
Something they're clearly and understandably, I guess, worried about.
Yeah. I think it's sensible. You have to take precautions like that when the opposition play in such a specific way. It gives you an opportunity to take measures that'll just be able to not negate that, but make it more difficult for Benrahma should he get possession in transition.
Here is Michael Hector. Gets it back from Reed and then finds Odoi. Under pressure from Benrahma, just checks back. Here is Ream into Kearney. Lays it off to Joe Bryan. Back with Kearney. Forced back though. It's not the greatest of passes to Tim Ream. He keeps it in and squares it to his goalkeeper. To play it forward. Dennis Odoi is underneath it. Takes it down brilliantly. Driving forward for Fulham is the right back. Dennis Odoi plays it in field. Here's Harrison Reed. Now Bobby Reed. Looks to create the room for the shot. Fires it towards goal. Deflected off of Ethan Pinnock, and Fulham have a corner. Fulham are not afraid to have efforts at goal from distance, are they? We've seen that in the early stages.
Yeah, certainly. They're quite willing to test David Raya. Raya's been one of the better goalkeepers in terms of shot stopping in the Championship over the course of the season, though, so perhaps not the smartest choice in this instance.
Don't forget, if you are watching us on YouTube, download the Hot Mic app and you can sync our commentary with your television pictures. We're following the game via Sky Sports main event here in the UK. Corner taken short. Here's Cabano, skips past Benrahma, delivers it in towards the penalty area, but Josh De Silva's big frame got in the way there. Fulham have another corner and another opportunity to get the ball into David Raya's penalty area. Big hello to everyone watching us via the Total Football Analysis YouTube channel and those tuned in this evening via the Chronicles of a Gooner. Got a fair few of you in there as well watching us live. Big hello to every single one of you. And if you've got any questions, feel free to fire them in the chat and we'll come to those at the earliest opportunity. We're on the 20th minute, 21st minute now. For those of you looking to sync up, there's just a few comments from people in the live chat asking. Corner played short. Here's Naskins Cabano into Tom Kearney. Takes a touch. Delivers low in towards the penalty spot area. It's hooked clear by Rico Henry in the end. Tim Ream will head it back into the mix as Fulham come again. Henry back up into the air. Josh De Silva flicks it on. Neither side can get the ball down under control at the moment. Henry had to be careful there not to catch the onrushing forward. Here is Naskins Cabano.
Cabano keeps trying to beat Rico Henry down the outside when he gets the ball in the wide areas. It's not going to be a foot race. He's going to win easily. Rico Henry's acceleration and pace is top level.
It's a Fulham throw-in on this near side, which Dennis Odoi is going to take. Here's Tom Kearney pulling the strings for the Cottagers at the moment. Always willing to get on the ball, always willing to turn. Here comes Ollie Watkins for Brentford. Dispossessed though. Seems as though lots of you in the comments this evening want to see Brentford win and secure their place in the Premier League, but it's Fulham coming forward at the moment. It's Fulham with all the danger. Here's Dennis Odoi. Tom Kearney dispossessed though. Ollie Watkins with an opportunity to carry the ball forward. Lays it off to Said Benrahma. He's got Mbeumo to his right if he decides to use him. Here is Mbeumo, wearing the number 19 shirt for Brentford. Looks to play it inside towards Benrahma, who continued his run. Fortunately, was unable to find him. Here is Ollie Watkins. Rico Henry all the way back. Ethan Pinnock. Here is Pinnock again. Ball forward. Henry will pick it up. He's come forward on this left-hand side. One-on-one with a defender. Looks up, delivers into the penalty area. It's Mbeumo who got ahead to it, but unfortunately for Brentford, it was never troubling the Fulham goalkeeper, Marek Rodak. Just signs, Lee, that Brentford are starting to come to life a little bit?
A little bit. I think a couple of times we've seen them win the ball back in the midfield. Ollie Watkins tracking back's been able to engage and challenge with the ball and win possession. And Brentford are always in danger when they do that, because they can hit you so quickly in the break. But again, Fulham doing very well to drop back into defensive shape just to deny Brentford that opportunity.
Here is De Silva. Here's Jensen, delivered into the box with his left foot. Oh, Michael Hector got a key header onto that because Mbeumo was arriving at the far post for Brentford. He was in plenty of space. Ball comes in and Mbeumo's certainly onside. Michael Hector just gets a vital touch, doesn't he, to divert it away.
Just got there in time. I don't think there's any doubt that Mbeumo would have finished that at the back post.
Probably the best moment we've seen from Brentford.
Yeah, they're looking a little bit brighter now. You're right. Fulham are in the ascendancy. Fulham are the ones that have been creating all the opportunities so far, but Brentford have the quality now just to ease their way back into the game. Momentum in these games can shift very quickly from one side to the other.
Here's Jensen's delivery. Oh, almost looked as if he tried to catch the goalkeeper out at the near post. Just too much bend on his side netting.
And that would be disappointing for Jensen. Normally his delivery from set pieces is much, much better than that. Time for a drinks break now. I think Thomas Frank will be glad to be able to get the players in and give them a little bit of a talking to, if you like, at this stage.
Disappointing if you're Pontus Jansson and you made your way forward for that set piece only to have to turn around and jog straight back. 25 minutes gone here at Wembley. We've got the drinks break, as you said. At Brentford, 3 attempts at goal. Fulham with 4. Fulham have had far more touches in the opposition penalty area. What have you made of the first 25 minutes or so, Lee? Who will be the happier of the two coaches and why?
I think there's no doubt that Scott Parker's the happier at the moment. Fulham have done well. Their game plan, as we've said, is to hold the ball at the back line, build up a little bit slower, and then try to get the ball in wide areas where they can make something happen. But they've been able to access the Brentford penalty area relatively easily. Some clever movements, some clever passes in the final third have allowed them to get those access points, and they've had the better goal scoring opportunities. I think that Thomas Frank will be keen for Brentford to start to play the way that they can. You need to see Christian Norgard and Matthias Jensen start getting the ball a little bit more in the centre of the park and to give the attacking players a platform from which they can attack. I think that the next 10-15 minutes will be telling. At this stage, all it's going to take is one mistake and a breakthrough, and then the picture, the game state of this match changes entirely.
Don't forget, guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can download the app if you prefer. It's the Hot Mic app. Use the promo code TFA2020 and you can sync our commentary with your television pictures. At the moment, we've got more of you watching on YouTube than on the app, so why not come over, sign up? I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And you'll get notifications when we go live on any future broadcasts. Header from Ethan Pinnock. Here's Bobby Reid, takes it down on his chest. Josh De Silva just easing him out of possession there. It was a double effort in the end from the Brentford midfield players, but Fulham have it back.
Harrison Reed has been very good for these first 27 minutes. He's just dictating everything in there for Fulham, controlling the tempo of the match.
Here is Tim Ream. Here's David Raya. He'll hook it clear. Not the greatest of clearances. Here's Said Benrahma. Here's Josh Da Silva. We know he's got a shot on him. His passes. Unable to find its intended target, and Fulham have it back again.
That was a very clever pass from Da Silva there, though, just looking to reverse it into the path of Ollie Watkins as he looked to run beyond the last defender. Much better from Said Benrahma there when he picked the ball up for Brentford. He released the ball a lot quicker than he has been so far. Perhaps something he's been asked to do a bit more by Thomas Frank instead of driving in possession. Just release the ball to advanced players and then try to move forward from there.
Certainly a foul. Anything more?
Yes. Potentially, but well, booking there when you look at that, when you see what Rico Henry was sent off for in the first leg of the playoff semi-final, he was given a red card for something far less than that. So potentially the boot shouldn't have been raised at any point anyway.
Does catch him, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Harrison Reed's got that in his game. He's always been very combative. I think that was the way that he was kind of termed as he was coming up through the youth ranks at Southampton. He's continued that in his professional career with Fulham.
I love that sort of word that they use to cover up somebody who doesn't know how to tackle.
Exactly.
Pontus Jansson gets ahead to that. The ball will find its way to Cabana, though. Can he get it clear for Fulham? He skips past Benrahma's challenge. And he's got it back. Cabano looks to play it inside. I think it was intended for Tierney, but it was cut out by Kearney, sorry. It was cut out by his own teammate.
That looks a little bit harsh. If I kick there against Bomo for handball, but the ball just looked to bounce up off his foot and strike the hand.
Did look a little bit harsh, agreed.
Fulham did very well to escape that situation just 2 minutes ago. They progressed the ball very well down this near side. A lot of good 1 and 2 touch passing, good angles to find the free man. That's the kind of thing that Brentford are normally known for.
Got a few comments in the live chat suggesting that Harrison Reed should have actually been shown a red card.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have been outraged if that was the case.
So you could have seen why. The studs were raised. He caught him in the foot with the studs. That's always a dangerous tackle to make. I think that it's down to the referee's discretion to an extent, though, but there is an argument that there should be more consistency with that kind of challenge. It depends as well on the angle the referee saw it at, of course. With no VAR at this level, you have to wonder what would have happened in the Premier League with VAR if a tackle like that came in.
I think having seen the slow motion replay of that, I think the VAR wouldn't have been able to avoid it. I think anyway. I think he would have, no doubt, deemed that to be a red card.
Yeah.
Well, you'd hope anyway, but of course, we've seen so many inconsistencies with VAR since its introduction that, it's you never know anymore. Put it that way.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen with VAR.
You never know if the referee's going to bother to go over and have a look. You never know if he's going to just leave it to the other guy. It's just a mess. Absolute
I know that's
mess.
one of your bugbears, Harry.
Absolute mess.
At the moment, again, we're just seeing Fulham dictate the game. Brentford still aren't pressing that high. The midfield usually press up far more than this, and Ollie Watkins looks to be conserving energy as opposed to chasing the ball between the two Fulham centre halves.
Here is Dennis Udoy. Back to Michael Hector. I'm surprised by the amount of possession that Fulham have had. I know a lot of it has been in those sort of defensive areas in their own third, but I'm still surprised that Brentford haven't been able to get a grip of this game as they maybe would have liked.
Yeah, I think that Fulham will be surprised themselves that they've been able to control the game so much as they have so far. It's part of their game plan that they have possession between the centre half so much. They pass the ball back and forth quite often to look to change the point of attack. They're looking for an opportunity to play the ball wide to access the wide areas as quickly as possible. Brentford, on the other hand, are much more vertical in their approach, a lot more forward passing, forward running.
Here is Brian Mbeumo. Lovely little pass from Jensen, flicked into the penalty area from Henrik Dalsgaard, who had continued his run forward, but Fulham get it clear eventually. I like this comment here. I've got to share this one with you, Lee. 1 second. Where is it? Seems like the level of the Championship tackling is Souness-esque.
I don't think Graham Souness would have enjoyed having VAR in his day, I don't think.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Here is Dalsgaard for Brentford. Now Jensen, infield to Josh Da Silva. Out to Rico Henry, who's come forward, delivers in towards that far post. Mbeumo heads it back across the goal. Watkins challenges the goalkeeper, knocks him over, and the referee has rightly given a free kick Fulham's way. Ollie Watkins, no complaints there. I think he knew exactly what he had done.
He but that was much better for Brentford. Like we talked about, we need to see Jensen and Norgard get on possession a lot more in central areas to allow Brentford to have a platform that they can attack from in the final third, and that's exactly what we saw there. As the ball came into the centre, they were able to release Rico Henry on the left-hand side, and he's an excellent crosser of the ball from that side. I think that when Ollie Watkins went into challenge for that ball, he knew himself that he would be given away a free kick if he made any contact with the goalkeeper.
Here is a camera for Fulham. He delivers one towards the far post. Cabano takes it down. Just got a bit caught up in terms of knowing with which part of his body to try and control that. Opportunity may be passed, but Fulham still have possession as Tom Cairney chips it into the penalty area.
I think Cabano surprised himself when he was able to control that ball so well.
Exactly. I think he didn't expect to control it, and once he did, he didn't manage to get his body in shape in time to make something more of it. Here is Odoi. Takes it down on the chest to Silva to touch. I think Odoi is adjudged to have taken that out of play, though.
Yeah.
35 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock for those of you asking in the live chat.
I think Odoi has been quite impressive so far this match. He's controlled that side of the pitch quite well. He's been good in possession, tidy in possession, and progressing the ball.
Here is a Cairney. Now Michael Hector. Tim Ream. Here is Odoi again. Forcing Ben Rama to do the kind of work that he doesn't want to be doing, and that is chasing back towards his own goal.
You see that he only goes so far, and then he turns Ben Rama and goes back into more advanced areas. That's the kind of license that he's given by this Brentford team, just to not do that much work defensively in his own defensive third. Instead, he looks to stay in space for transition moments.
Camara lays it off to Joe Bryan on the left-hand side, but Camara was adjudged to have strayed into an offside position. The flag's up against him. Thomas Frank and his staff looking on, probably trying to think of a way of getting more of a grip on this one.
Yes, they do. They need to find a way just to control the tempo a little bit, have a period of 10 minutes where they dominate possession, and it'll force Fulham back a little bit.
Ben Rama just dispossessed there inside the centre circle. Bobby Reid looks to skip past Christian Norgard. Still got it, Bobby Reid. Done well. Lovely ball inside to Harrison Reid. Took a couple of defenders out of the game instantly with that pass. Here's Dennis Odoi. Into Naiskins Cabano. Looked as if he knew what he was doing, but he ends up back heeling the ball out of play. Slightly off topic, Lee, but I want to get your take on this. I was watching the FA Cup final over the weekend, of course, and neither manager wore a suit. I'm watching the playoff final tonight, and Thomas Frank looks like he's pulled a jumper out of his auntie's cupboard. I mean, what's going on? Am I just being a traditionalist here?
I think it's safe to say that Pep Guardiola's introduced a lot to English football, but or if you like tracksuit managers that'll be a little bit more comfortable in their attire, I guess.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm not as much of a traditionalist as you are.
I either want you to wear a tracksuit and be a tracksuit coach, or be a suit coach. Not this hybrid in between that you seem to see.
Yeah, jeans and a jumper.
Yeah, exactly. Just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. Kevin Jean in the comments says, blame Pep and Klopp. And Tony Pulis at Stokey says.
I think blaming Tony Pulis at Stokes my answer for a lot of things in English football, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I think Aaron Ramsey would agree with you as well.
Certainly would.
Pontus Jansson plays the ball forward towards Ollie Watkins. He gets ahead to it, but ball falls to Dennis Odoi. Rodak with a long clearance. Pinnock gets ahead to it. Taken down by Tom Kearney. Dennis Odoi again for Fulham. Been on the ball plenty, hasn't he?
Flat. Yes, he has. The game's just gone a little bit flat at this point, I think.
It has. Wonder if we're going to see, not necessarily in terms of personnel, but any changes in terms of the approach from either side at the break. I'm sure Thomas Frank will be standing there mulling over what he's going to say to his players, because Scott Parker will be the happier of the two managers so far. There's no doubt about that.
No, not at all. I think that Thomas Frank needs to find a way to change this game, whether that's just through instructions to the players currently on the pitch or even making a substitution at half-time.
Here's Odoi. Thought about having a shot on his left foot. Ended up taking one with his right. It was blocked though. Buemo gets a foot in there. He's caught late by the Fulham man, but Brentford will play on. Ollie Watkins just pulled back. Martin Atkinson, as a result, will pull play all the way back and give the Bees a free kick deep inside their own half.
I think Brentford would have preferred the free kick for the foul on Watkins when the defender had his arms round him there.
Agreed. Ever thought about dyeing your hair like that, like Saïd Benramali?
I already have.
Oh, good stuff.
No, I don't think that the pure white look would suit me somehow. I'll leave that to footballers.
Here is Pinnock. Here is a Dalsgaard.
This is better for Brentford already, just a little bit more control in their play.
Here's Josh Da Silva. Now into Rico Henry. Through the legs of Askins Cabano. Here's Saïd Benrahma. Dalsgaard. Good work from Mbeumo. Can he get it on the other side? No, the referee, or the linesman I should say, has flagged it the other way. Mbeumo just caught the defender.
That was a good pass though from Dalsgaard on that side. A lot of good weight, good power, good pace on the ball at the penalty area. Allows Mbeumo just to almost touch the ball past the defender with his first touch.
Fulham have a goal kick as a result. Both centre halves have just dropped either side of the 6-yard box. It's a free kick, goal kick, taken short. Ream into Reed. Watkins doing his best to make himself a nuisance. Flag's gone up against Cabano on this near side. Have a quick look at you guys' comments. Big hello to Renat, to Tejas, to Sean. Lots of you joining us at the moment. Here is Pontus Jansson. Ethan Pinnock. Ball out to the right where Mbeumo will rise. He gets ahead to it. Jensen's pressing high up the pitch, trying to win possession back for Brentford. They've got a throw in now, though, after it was cleared initially by Fulham. Here's Pinnock. Now Pontus Jansson. Loose ball from Buemo, and now Fulham can come forward with Josh Onoma. Got 2 for company. Still comes out with possession though, but good work from the Brentford man to get back, get a foot in, prevent him progressing. Adonija asks in the comments, Harry, would you take the job if Sky Sports offered you a commentary position? Only if I can take Lee with me.
I don't think they can afford us, Harry.
No, me neither. Especially seeing as we're going to be the new Aberdeen owners very soon. Here's a camera. For those of you who are wondering what on earth we're talking about, myself and Lee discussed our future purchase of Aberdeen Football Club one day. Here is Tim Ream. Ball delivered into the box. Well gathered from David Raya. Here is Said Benrahma now, looking to inject some urgency in Brentford's play. Here's Josh Da Silva carrying the ball forward. A bit of a loose touch in the end, but he managed to retain possession until pass back to him from Ollie Watkins was a poor one.
That was poor from Watkins. That was an ideal opportunity there to collect possession and just hold the ball up a little bit, allow his team to get forward in that wide position. Instead, he looked to connect immediately back inside with Da Silva, but the pass was behind Da Silva. Interesting to note, though, that Bud Benrahma picked up the ball deep in the central area there. Obviously, he's coming inside, he's coming deeper and deeper, looking to get on the ball and make something happen.
Here's Michael Hector into Tim Ream. You're watching us live at the moment and you haven't hit that like button, why the hell not? Hit the button. The more of you hit the button, the more the video gets shared around and the more people are able to tune in and join us. Emiliano Marcondes on the substitutes bench this evening, of course, played in the second leg of the semi-final against Swansea and played very well.
Yeah, and obviously scored one of the goals as well. I think that could be an interesting option for Brentford as the game goes on. He's a different profile in midfielder, a player who's more suited, if you like, to playing as a 10, but as an 8 he will drive forward a little bit and he's never shy to shoot from range.
I was very impressed by his performance. Last week it was now. Feels like a lifetime ago.
It feels like football's paused for a little while, but we're only just taking breath, I think, before the European football starts again tomorrow.
Here is a Tom Kearney. Harrison Reed. Ball forward, but the half-time whistle's gone here at Wembley. It's Brentford 0, Fulham 0. Nobody has made the breakthrough just yet. Fulham have probably had the better of the first period. Scott Parker will no doubt be the happier of the two bosses. But as we go in at half-time, it's still 0-0. It's still finely balanced. And a place in the Premier League is up for grabs. Lots to talk about. We'll be coming back in a few minutes' time to reflect on that first half. But we're going to go and have a short break now. So if you're watching us via YouTube or via the stream on Hot Mic, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes' time. Cheers. Hello, good evening, and welcome back to Total Football Analysis's live coverage of the Championship playoff final between Brentford and Fulham. It's coming to you live from Wembley Stadium. It's goalless at half-time, as we said just prior to the break. I guess Fulham have probably had the better of it so far, but Lee, Brentford carry plenty of threat, and are you expecting Thomas Frank to try at least and rally his troops during the break?
I think so. I think that Brentford are the team that need to make a change to kind of change the momentum and the picture of this match at the moment. Fulham have really been in control. They've created better of the chances. Not as big a disparity between the number of chances created as I thought there might be. Just watching the game as the game progressed, it felt like Fulham were dominating a little more than they perhaps were. It only takes one opportunity though for Fulham to get the ball over the line, and that changes the complexion of the match entirely. I think that Brentford need to find a way to control the game centrally a little bit more. We talked about that in the first half. Norgard and Jensen have to get on the ball a little bit more in central areas to provide a platform for likes of Ben Rama and Buemo and Watkins to collect the ball in the final third, and from there they can be extremely dangerous. But at this point, it's still anyone's game. The game could swing in any way, any time, the way that things are poised.
Indeed, it could. So much at stake this evening. Both managers desperate for a place in the Premier League. Both managers have done a wonderful job with their respective clubs so far. Brentford, of course, looking to cap off the final season at Griffin Park with glory. And what a way they would start there in their new stadium as if they were able to make it to the Premier League. Let's run you through the two sides again as they were before the break. We're not hearing of any substitutions at the moment. Two teams are in the tunnel. You can see the Brentford boys there. Running through the teams as they were in the first half at least. David Raya is in goal for Brentford. Henrik Dalsgaard, Pontus Jansson, Ethan Pinnock, Rico Henry, Matthias Jensen, Christian Norgard, Joshua Da Silva, Said Benrahma, Brian Mbuemo, and Ollie Watkins. For Fulham, it's Marek Rodak, Dennis Adoy, Michael Hector, Tim Ream, Joe Bryan, Tom Kearney, Harrison Reed, Bobby Reed, Onoma, Naskins Cabano, and Abubakar Kamara. That is the two sides that ended the first period. Brentford don't look as though they've made any changes.
No, they look unchanged. We're still seeing Da Silva, still seeing Norsgaard. I think if there is a change at the early stage of the second half, it will be to make that change that we talked about in the first half, to have Marcondes come on in the centre of midfield.
I don't think there's been any changes for Fulham either. The players gather to get onto the pitch together, waiting for their teammates to emerge as they prepare to get back on the field and give this one a real go. If you're joining us late and you're watching us via YouTube, don't forget that you can download the Hot Mic app, use the promo code TFA2020, and you can synchronize our commentary with your television pictures. If you're happy to stay us via YouTube, that's fine too, but make sure that you hit that like button and share the broadcast with your friends and family. Turn the notifications on as well, and you will receive one each and every time we go live. And we got plenty of games coming your way in the next few weeks. Keep an eye on our schedule via @TotalAnalysis. On Twitter, we'll be posting any upcoming games there. Brentford are going to kick us off in this second period now, attacking from left to right. Martin Atkinson blows the whistle. We're back underway here at Wembley. It's Brentford 0, Fulham 0 in the Championship playoff final. They say this game is worth more than any other in world football. Might not feel like that given we're playing it in an empty stadium, but it certainly is the case. I promise.
It's huge for a club like Brentford, especially with their financial situation. They're such good recruiters, but they don't tend to spend as much money as perhaps some of the others. They make their money through sales and then reinvest it. For them to get access to the money in the Premier League, the things that they can already do in the transfer market would be extremely interesting to watch.
Cleared by Michael Hector. Pontus Jansson gets ahead to it. Norgard having to just sweep up there in the middle of the park and make sure that the ball didn't find its way to a Fulham body. Here is Pontus Jansson for Brentford. Josh Da Silva back to Jansson. Shifts the ball out of his feet before playing a long ball in the direction of Ollie Watkins. Been starved of service tonight, Ollie Watkins, hasn't he? He's continued to work hard, but he's not had anywhere near the kind of service he got against Swansea in that semi-final second leg.
No, exactly, and that's down to the fact that Brentford aren't having as much possession in central areas as they were in that second leg. When they have possession of the ball in those spaces, they're able to get the ball forward to the feet of Watkins a lot easier. At the moment, he's just trying to get at the end of more direct passes.
Fulham have a free kick here right on the edge of the Brentford penalty area. It was a lovely reverse pass from Onoma. It was Bobby Reid who came across, and there Rico Henry was just a little bit late arriving to the party, and he's taken his opponent out there.
He certainly was just a little bit late. Very good opportunity here for Fulham, though.
Indeed it is. Cabano stands over it. Kearney stands over it. Plenty of candidates here for this one. David Raya just lining up his wall.
It's going to be Cabano.
Certainly shaping up as though he's going to strike the ball. Here's Naskins Cabano over the top of the wall. Oh, I thought it went in. Into the side netting.
That was incredibly close.
A wonderful effort from Naskins Cabano. Just needed a little bit more bend on it. It made the net ripple, which is why we thought it went in, but
he didn't quite go over the wall. He went through a gap in the wall, and that slight change of trajectory was just enough to see it hit the side netting. But certainly, I thought it was a goal as well.
The net bulged just from the wrong side. Remains Brentford 0, Fulham 0. But again, all the close calls, I guess, seem to be coming Fulham's way. Or seem to be going Fulham's way, I should say. Here is Josh Onoma carrying the ball forward. Still has the ball. He's skipped past a number of Brentford bodies. Eventually, Pinnock gets a touch and Brentford have an opportunity to break now. But that's wonderful work from Josh Onoma.
He's such a fluid runner with the ball. You see that he just pauses slightly to allow the Brentford defenders to run past him and then changes the direction of the play just with a flick at the outside of the foot. Fantastic control of the ball from Onoma.
Here's Michael Hector. Now Tim Ream. Ryan plays it forward. Janssen gets ahead to it. Here is Josh Da Silva now for Brentford. Very left-footed is Da Silva. He's brought down in the end by Joe Bryan.
Da Silva was lucky to get that. Looked like he'd overran the ball. It was going out of play anyway, and he kind of threw himself over the leg a little bit, I think.
Has the referee even given it his way?
Potentially not.
Just seen Bryan walking away. That's why I ask. Shifted it past him. Looks like a foul to me.
Trailing leg just caught him a little bit.
Waiting to see what exactly has been given here. No, it was given Fulham's way. Interesting. Adoy plays it forward. Here's Josh Onoma. So strong in possession, isn't he? Very good at shielding the ball, holding people off.
Yeah, he was always extremely highly rated when he was coming through the system at Spurs, and it's for that ability to receive the ball in central areas and then beat players. And players in central spaces who can beat people one-on-one are so valuable because they open up the whole game for their team.
Here is Cabano infield. Harrison Reed dispossessed there. Brentford get it clear, but Fulham will come again. If anybody's looking the most likely at the moment, it is Fulham. That will be of concern to Thomas Frank, whose side is normally so effective in terms of their attacking football and the way they move the ball around. Just not been at the races tonight. It's credit to Fulham as well, but Brentford just, perhaps nerves are playing a part here.
I think it's easy to look past the performance of Fulham when we talk about what Brentford aren't doing, but you're right, Fulham's press, their ability in the ball, their ability to manipulate the ball and keep the ball away from Brentford in possession has been really important so far tonight, and they are looking by far the better team at the moment.
Here's Bobby Reid now. Joe Bryan, that's a loose touch. Allows Norgard to pick up possession. Here's Ollie Watkins for Brentford, lays it off. The Jensen. Out to the left-hand side where Said Benrahma will pick it up. Always looking to shift infield onto that right foot. Skips past 2 Fulham players. Fires towards goal. Appeals for a handball. He's not going to get it. Is he going to get a corner? No, he's not. It's a goal kick to Fulham.
Certainly looked to the naked eye like there might have been a case for handball, but I'm sure we'll see the replay soon.
Of course, no VAR in operation this evening.
No.
Do you agree with that? I know they've played the entire season without it, but
yeah,
in a game like this with so much at stake, would you have liked to have seen it introduced, or do you not think it's fair?
No, I don't think it would be fair to have VAR come into it for this game. Especially the players at this level haven't experienced it yet. They don't know exactly what it's going to be like on the pitch when they have VAR almost pausing and interrupting the match. I think it's only fair that it continues and ends the season without.
Fair play.
Plus, I don't like VAR, so I'm quite happy that it doesn't have.
It is one of those things. I think that good can come of it, but unfortunately, common sense just isn't prevailing at the moment.
I think eventually, give it 5 years, and I think that we might see good come of it as the system's worked out and any bugs are worked out, and we know exactly how things are going to happen. But at the moment, it's just all over the place.
It is indeed. Here is Tom Kearney for Fulham. Ball into Bobby Reid. Yes, sir. Onoma. Going into Onoma, who's got time to turn. Plays a ball in field. It was a loose one, and Buemo looked as though he'd picked up possession for Brentford. Ended up allowing Kamara to get a foot in, and then he ends up bringing down the Fulham number 47.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot from Kamara tonight. He's normally quite tricky, very tall, powerful, quick, wide player who normally likes to take players on one-on-one. We really haven't seen him in the game at all. But in that situation, Buemo just had a loose touch and he was rash at trying to win the ball back and giving the foul away.
Here is a Tim Ream. Given away to Ollie Watkins. Chance now for Brentford to create something. Here's Mbeumo. He's got Da Silva to his right. Here is Da Silva, always looking to use that left foot, look towards that far post, it seemed. But he's not sure if it was a cross or a pass, whatever it was blocked. And Brentford are forced all the way back. But that was an opportunity. Fulham have rarely been caught that high up the field. Brentford perhaps, I guess, spurning an opportunity to really test this Fulham back line with a counter-attack. Here's Da Silva looking for Ollie Watkins, but pass wasn't
and that
up
was
to
much
standards.
better from Brentford of winning the ball back high. They were able to put pressure on and turn the ball over, and those are the situations that Brentford are looking for. Those transitions when they have positional superiority, they have players position across the width of the field. They certainly had the opportunity to move the ball far quicker. I was surprised he chose to go outside to Josh Da Silva, and you were right, he was always looking back inside on his left. Sometimes it's better to go central first to try and create something and penetrate the penalty area.
Agreed. Brentford have a throw in now, just inside the Fulham half. Dalsgaard, the man with the ball in his hands. Here's Jensen. Lays it off. Here's Pinnock. Out to Rico Henry. On this left-hand side. Hasn't been able to get forward as much as he did in the first period. Again, that's a testament to the job that Dennis Odoi and Neeskens Cabano are doing on that right-hand side for Fulham.
Yeah, they've been very good to pair with them. Odoi especially has impressed me with his defensive work, and his ability in possession as well. Looks like a very accomplished right back.
Lovely 1-2 there between Henry and Ben Rama. Ball inside. Jensen looks to get it under control, but it's a poor touch from Matthias Jensen, and Fulham can breathe again.
And yes, it's much better than that. You expect a much more sure touch in that kind of area. That was a good chance for Brentford to create something.
So technically gifted, Matthias Jensen. You're right. Certainly expect more than that. Pinnock gets ahead to it. Ben Rama will take this down on his chest. Manages to create a bit of space for himself. Delivers into the penalty area. Tim Ream gets ahead to it. Josh Silva will pick it up. Here's Mbeumo now on the corner of the Fulham penalty area. Always looking to get it onto that left foot. Digs out some form of a cross towards the far post, but it's overhit and it's a Fulham goal kick.
That's a difficult situation when you get wide players who are so one-footed. You could see there the Fulham defender was fully aware that that was the area that Mbeumo was going to try and cut into. and he just kept his body position in such a way that Mbeumo had no position to move centrally, and he ended up just hitting a hopeful cross towards the back post. Looks like Marcondes is getting ready to come on for Brentford.
I've not been overly impressed with De Silva this evening, and I know he's been good throughout the season, and I've seen him in the flesh a couple of times this season and been impressed. Just don't think that this evening he's had the kind of impact on the game that he would have liked, and I think Marcondes could be a better option. Do you expect that it might be De Silva who makes way?
Yes, I believe it will be. I would imagine that we'll see that, and we'll see Marcondes look to push forward much more towards Ollie Watkins.
Here is Mbeumo now. Watkins is making the run in front of him. He just delayed playing that ball, Mbeumo. He had Ben Rama inside as well, which was probably an easier pass to execute, but Fulham have it back. Just signs that Brentford are starting to win the ball in the right positions and, getting into the positions where they can exploit this Fulham backline, but they've just not taken them so far. Just that little 5-10% missing from Brentford at the moment in those areas.
They just need to be able to combine and link up a little bit quicker, a little bit sharper in those areas to be able to progress the ball and move the Fulham defenders around a little bit more. At the moment, it feels like they're trying to force things a little too much, especially in Mbeumo when he gets possession. He needs to find a way to go around the outside a couple of times just to make the Fulham defenders believe that is an option.
Here is Adoy. Delivered into the penalty area. It's going to fall to Bobby Cordova-Reid, and his effort was wide of David Raya's goal.
Again, that was just hesitant defending from Brentford as the ball comes in. It's a decent ball, but nothing more than that. Pontus Jansson fails to get the ball away when he throws himself at it, and Brentford are lucky that it looks like Reid wasn't expecting the ball to come to. When he controls the ball, he just slices the right foot shot wide of the post.
Mitrovic continues to watch on from the substitutes bench.
You'd imagine that he will get some time at some point. I believe he trained for the last 2 games in last 2 days, in full training. So fitness is obviously an issue, but you would think at this stage of the season you would roll the dice a little bit with a player of that quality.
26 goals in the Championship this season for Alexander Mitrovic. Certainly carries a threat. Former Newcastle United man. Here is Ben Rama. Now
Ben Rama just collected the ball in the 6th position. He's come that deep to try and get possession of the ball.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, Lee.
They do indeed.
Here is De Silva. Out to Mbeumo. He's got a stretch to keep that on. The pass wasn't a great one. Here is Norgard. Now Pinnock. Out to Rico Henry. Forced back towards his central defensive colleague. Here is Pontus Jansson. Now Dalsgaard again. It's down the line. Finds Mbeumo. Miscontrol. Gone out for a Fulham throw, and that's disappointing. It's sloppy.
That's incredibly poor from a player of Mbeumo's quality. Just allowed the ball to strike off him and run behind for a throw in. He completely slowed the game down there for Brentford. They were in a good position.
Substitutions being made, and it's Mbeumo who's making way. To our surprise, we thought it was going to be De Silva. Brian Mbeumo is the man being replaced by Emiliano Marcondes.
Yeah. In the last match, it was Sergio Canos who came on from Wembley in the second half of the playoff semi-final. So slightly surprised to see Marcondes come on in that position, but he is multi-talented. He's able to play as a striker, a 10, as an 8, so there's no reason at all he can't play from the wide position in this Brentford attack.
Kamara goes down under the challenge of, I think it was a combination of players actually. Fulham have a free kick. Martin Atkinson not happy with the Brentford players delaying its taking.
Not sure if it's De Silva who's come out onto the right-hand side.
Looks that way. it would stick to the theory, wouldn't it, of playing sort of with inverted wingers.
It certainly would, yeah.
Although I'm not sure Josh Da Silva is a winger as such, but there you go. Thinking outside the box is Thomas Frank. Less than half an hour to go here at Wembley. It remains Brentford 0, Fulham 0. Bobby Reid looking to get a ball into the penalty area. It's come off of Marcondes, who was back defending. It's a Fulham throw. Joe Bryan, who's going to take this, left-footed. Delivers it into the penalty area. It's met by the head of Michael Hector. Unable to get it on target, though. Just a complete mismatch there in terms of their physical power, wasn't it?
Yes.
He leaves from Ollie Watkins and gets himself onto Marcondes.
Marcondes is good in the air, but he's not particularly physically powerful. Hector, on the other hand, if he gets ahead of steam with a run, he can be very dangerous in the air in those kind of situations.
We hoped it wouldn't be such a cagey affair. It has been up until now, though.
I was expecting Brentford to be much more gung-ho and more attacking, and they've been a little bit slow to get going, I think, in this match. They've got half an hour now to find some momentum and find a way to really impose themselves on Fulham. But if they do so, of course, then they risk leaving spaces in behind that Fulham could exploit.
Some questions coming through in the live chat. If Brentford lose, Harry, would you take Josh Da Silva? I'm not sure. Not based on tonight's performance, and I've got to be honest, I haven't watched enough Championship football this season to make a real judgment on him. But of course, he was an Arsenal player previously. Didn't make the grade, didn't make the cut. I know it's different now that he's been out and he's been playing regular football. But yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. Lee, is he somebody that, in your opinion, Mikel Arteta should look at?
I think that depends exactly what you're looking for. We talked about him in the last match we did at Brentford, and we discussed the fact that Da Silva was a player with a different kind of midfield profile, something Arsenal don't currently have. Whether that means that he's good enough at this point for Arsenal with the kind of football that Arteta wants to play, I'm not entirely sure. If you, for example, had a straight choice between spending the money on Da Silva or spending the money on Symeou, I think there's only one way to go for Arsenal.
Yeah, agreed. Interesting that he's receiving so much praise in the comments as well, because maybe it's just me. I haven't thought he's had a particularly good game this evening.
No, he's normally a lot better than this. Normally in possession, he's the one who's driving forward in possession. Jensen and Norgard are more passers, while Da Silva gives you the opportunity to take players on as he is now to beat players one-on-one, and these are the areas that he's kind of dangerous.
Lays the ball off there to Jensen. Ball out to the left-hand side in search of Said Benrahma. Dennis Odoi, I think, got a touch to that. Means it'll be a Brentford ball. I'm not sure he completely aware of...
Like a corner.
Yeah, corner, sorry. Not sure he was completely aware of Said Benrahma's positioning there. Just opted to deal with it. Janssen makes his way forward, as does Ethan Pinnock. As does Henrik Dalsgaard, who's also a massive presence in the penalty area as well.
Yes, absolutely. And Brentford obviously practice set plays perhaps more than any other team at this level. They're known for it being able to make things happen from set pieces.
Clearly going to be an in-swinger because they're all gathered in and around the goal line. Delivered in by Jensen. Pinnock gets ahead to it towards the far post. Watkins is underneath it, but it's Joe Bryan who gets the final touch. Another Brentford corner. Almost looks like a deliberate tactically. They all gather sort of on the goal line and then they all step out, don't they, when the ball actually comes in. And I guess they're hoping to lose their markers in that sort of transition.
Yeah, and that last one was a deliberate attempt to get the ball to the back post. They quite often loop the ball at the back, but Ethan Pinnock can win it and then look to get the ball back across goal with their runners moving in.
This is certainly a different move as the ball's delivered in. Michael Hector, I think, got a touch on it. Fulham looked to break away, but Ben Rama picks up the loose ball. He's brought down by Tom Kearney. That's a wild challenge from the Fulham man. He's going to be shown a yellow card here by Martin Atkinson, and Dalsgaard showing his disappointment at the fact that the card is yellow and not red.
I think that was a yellow card all day long. I wouldn't give more than that. He looked to get the ball, come out to try and win it, and Ben Rama just shifted his weight quickly to move around him.
I agree with you. It's nothing more than a yellow card. But I mean, I love it when players then turn around to the referee once the player's gone down as if to say, what?
I know.
Oh, that's a handball, surely.
Yeah,
from Michael Hector. We're seeing the replays.
Maybe VAR is needed at this level after all.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. I'm sure they'd have been given a penalty kick for that. Michael
Still
Hector.
A good opportunity here, though.
It is indeed. Michael Hector is a very, very lucky boy there. His arms were up.
This will be Ben Rama.
Seems quite a way out, though. Is Ben Rama able to test Marek Rodak in the Fulham goal? The silver's there as well, as is Marcondes, but we expect Ben Rama to take this. Marcondes, actually. It's high and it's wide and it's not troubling Fulham.
I hope for his sake that he was supposed to be taking that set piece. He might have some questions to answer after the game. Just seemed to be nothing. He got elevation on the ball, but nowhere near the dip that we need to threaten the goal. Very comfortable in the end for Fulham.
It was like he was trying, I don't know how to describe it. It's this particular technique that you see a lot in the modern game where it's sort
the Ronaldo free kick.
That's right, yeah, exactly.
David Luiz does the same thing for Arsenal. When you look to strike the ball, I believe, with your laces when you're striking down on the ball, and it's supposed to create that elevation and dip that you could get. If you catch it right, it's a very good technique, but very difficult to do.
Yeah, it very rarely pays off, unless you're Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. An exceptional talent. Currently, Brentford 0, Fulham 0, 68 minutes played. Drinks break taking place at the moment in the second half. Place in the Premier League up for grabs. Both managers taking the opportunity to get some further instructions to their players as we enter, I guess, what we can call the last quarter of this game. Seems like football's heading in that direction, Lee, doesn't it, in terms of having quarters rather than halves.
Yeah, it's almost getting to that point where players need to have that moment to break. I think there's been a lot of confusion as to why this is continuing after so long after the restart, and with news that the 5 substitutions is likely to continue to next season as well. It seems to be rules being put in place that will almost favour those with the money to extend their squads beyond what other clubs can.
Are they just conditioning us for the Qatar World Cup?
Potentially.
With the drinks breaks, maybe. Yeah, Brentford owner on your screens there, Martin Benham. Pontus Jansson gets ahead to that. It's picked up by Jensen in the middle of the park. Into De Silva. Back to Jensen, holds off the challenge of Onoma. Brentford may be trying to be too intricate there.
Yeah. It was too dangerous to be playing those passes in there. 1 or 2 passes to feet in those positions is enough, but to keep going is just dangerous.
Pinnock does well to hold off Adoy, who's ended up fouling him. Got some comments coming through about the explosion that took place earlier on in Beirut. Our thoughts go out to those affected. I've got to be honest, I've seen a quick video clip online, but I'm not sure exactly what happened, what the situation is. But what we will say is, on behalf of all of us, our condolences go out to those who have lost their lives, and of course those who are injured as well. Here is Pinnock for Brentford. Here is Norgard into Jensen. Ollie Watkins fires from range. Ollie Watkins from the edge of the box, and it's turned over by Marek Rodak. That's the first sight we've seen of Ollie Watkins in full flow there. It's a good effort. He's forced the save, and he's won his team a corner.
Yeah, and that was the first sign we've seen of Brentford in full flight as well, with those incisive passes to progress the ball forward, then find Ollie Watkins on the edge of the area, touch to steady himself, and then his first thought is to strike at goal. A little bit too much elevation, perhaps. He'd been better served to try and hit the corners a little more. As the game continues, though, we're edging ever closer to extra time.
Or indeed. Could potentially be another half an hour. Unless somebody can break the deadlock between now and the 90th minute. Here is Cabano. Ball in behind for Camara to run onto. He's done really, really well to shake off Pontus Jansson. Creates the space on his left foot. Plays a ball inside. Kearney was trying to let the ball run onto that left foot of his. It's struck from distance by Harrison Reed.
That was the first time we've really seen Kamara come to life for Fulham, but one too many turns and one too many shifts of the ball. He needs to be looking to get the ball into the central areas a lot quicker than he did.
Here is De Silva. Turned inside and turned into trouble. Fulham still have possession despite Martin Atkinson agreeing that it was a foul there on Bobby Cordova-Reid.
Yeah.
And he's just got there first before Marcondes this time.
The game started to get a little bit stretched. We're seeing more of these one-on-one duels, if you like, and fouls in the central areas trying to slow the game down. That was a deliberate foul from Brentford who tripped the Fulham attacker to try and slow the game down, but the referee played the game on, and eventually it just led to nothing for Fulham. They'll be disappointed not to got the free kick there.
Here is Rodak. He'll gather that. To the ball towards Ollie Watkins was overhit. Don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't already, smash that like button. It is very much appreciated. If you prefer to sync our commentary to your television pictures, head over to Hot Mic. Download the application, use the promo code TFA2020 and give Total Football Analysis a follow. Fulham are preparing a change. It looks as though Anthony Knockaert is getting ready. He's a dangerous player. Very effective at this level.
Yeah, I think that'll be for Camara.
Marcondes just gets there ahead of Brian. Does really, really well. Lovely reverse pass to De Silva. Plays the ball infield. Here's Jensen. Out to the left where Rico Henry will gather it. Now it's Said Benrahma. Fulham again very quickly getting bodies behind the ball though. Here is Benrahma again. He's got two players for company this time. Neeskins Cabano working very hard defensively as well this evening. He's been excellent.
Yes, he has. And Brentford let themselves down there. The ball needs to go in the area a lot quicker. Instead, they've worked the ball from one side to the next. But they need to be a little bit more positive on the ball to try and punch the ball in that penalty area, try to make something happen, get the ball into the feet of Watkins where he's got his back to goal and can hold it up from there.
Here's Benrahma.
Moment it all feels too safe for Brentford.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Just get the feeling it's going to take somebody to step up to the mark, somebody to pull off a moment of individual brilliance to win this one.
Yep.
Here is Pontus Jansson into Jensen. Aims the ball out to the left where Benrahma will challenge Dennis Odoi for it. Hardly even challenged him, to be fair, but either way, Odoi has conceded the throw-in. He's pretty much in line with the edge of his own penalty area. Here's Pinnock. Janssen. Pinnock plays it forward. Fulham hook it clear though. Here is Cabano on the right hand side for Fulham. Delivers into the penalty area, gathered by David Raya. Gathered with ease as well. Surprised we haven't seen Mitrovic yet.
No, I think you would think that would eventually be a change, but maybe Scott Parker's not going to be playing him on, because this would be the point now where you'd be putting on a striker with limited minutes and limited training. You'd give them the last 15 minutes to try and make something happen. Interesting again that David Raya claims the ball so confidently. That'll do his backline the world of good and allows his players to be confident in his ability in claiming the ball. It's always a good thing for goalkeepers to claim the ball like that in the air so that they can settle down their players and allow them to be a little bit safer in their thinking.
Indeed. Here is Said Benrahma infield to Christian Norgard. Here's Henrik Dalsgaard coming forward now. Got De Silva to his right, uses him. Again, De Silva looks infield. Here's Marcondes. Back with Pontus Jansson, who stepped into the midfield here. Here is Benrahma now on this left-hand side for Brentford. Into De Silva. Popping up on the left now. Brentford desperately trying to create chances, trying to create space. Here's Rico Henry. Nice ball into Jensen, who just stepped inside. Benrahma looked for the elaborate backheel and ended up backheeling it against his mate, but he's got it back. Here is the Algerian running at the Fulham defence, looking to create the space to deliver into the penalty area. Silva looking for the flick on, but De Cordova-Reid was there. Fulham now look to break out. Here's Camara. He's turned on the burners. Can he keep the ball in? He can. He's still got it. He's going to allow some of his teammates to get up alongside him. He's forced back in the end by Pinnock, who stuck with him well. As Camara, once he turns on the burners, it's not always easy to keep up with him.
Certainly not, but Pinnock did very well there. Centre defenders, when they're pulled wide in those transition moments, can sometimes struggle. Pinnock certainly has the strength and the speed to keep up and neutralise threats in those areas. But again, we saw Brentford just being too patient. They need to be more progressive in their passing and possession, trying to make something happen instead of waiting for the opportunity to present itself.
Fulham are readying a double substitution, and Alexander Mitrovic has appeared alongside Anthony Knockout. I think Watkins was fouled there. Glad to see Martin Atkinson blowing the whistle eventually. I thought he wasn't going to, given how long he delayed it. Jensen delivers it. Janssen looks to head it back across the penalty area. I don't think that was his intention in terms of where he actually put it. Just waiting. I think the substitutions are going to be made now.
Yep.
Anthony Knockout is coming on for Neeskens Cabana. I'm surprised at that.
Definitely, Cabano's looked good. He's looked sharp. He's worked hard defensively. The last 10 minutes, though, Kamara has come into the game a little bit more. Maybe that's why he's getting a little bit more time. I would imagine it'd be Cordova-Reid for Mitrovic when he does eventually come on.
Not sure where he's disappeared to. Has Scott Parker changed his mind? Or
possibly.
Perhaps he was coming out just to get a bib and start warming up, and that's why We saw him standing there in his white shirt. He's put a bib on now. Who knows? Only Scott Parker knows. Here is Dalsgaard for Brentford. 10 minutes, 9 minutes plus stoppage time remaining here at Wembley. Well done by Josh Onomah again to escape his opponents. Just manages to keep the ball so on at a time where Tottenham fans still look back and wonder what happened to, having a midfielder like Dembele, who of course left, who was so good and strong in possession. They had one in their ranks all along in Josh Onomah. Are you surprised that he's not really had an opportunity there?
I am. I think that Onomah is a player who can make a huge difference to the Spurs team, but whether he would under Mourinho is another matter. Marcus Edwards, another one who spent the last year on loan at Vitória Guimarães in Portugal. And for those of you that follow the Scout Football Twitter feed, you'll be aware that Marcus Edwards has been creating and scoring goals almost at will in the Portuguese league. Tottenham fans will be concerned that he won't make the breakthrough either.
Not long to go here at Wembley. Can somebody step up and become a hero?
It's all very cagey now. Nobody wants to make that mistake. I'd imagine we'll see. It looks like Sergio Canos is over on the far side, coming on for Brentford next. That should be for De Silva, I think.
Good delivery. Has to be dealt with. It wasn't dealt with. De Silva cuts it back. It's going to fall to Dalsgaard, who strikes towards goal, but it was always rising. He's not the player that Brentford would have chosen for the ball to drop to in that position.
Not. Perhaps the least likely to strike the ball in that area, but good play. I think the pass back from De Silva was poor. Behind Norsgaard, he did well just to control the layoff a little bit into the path of Dalsgaard for the shot.
Did indeed, and it is Josh De Silva who's made way for Sergi Canos.
Yeah. Canos is more natural out on that right-hand side, more of a winger. We should see him now look to stretch the outside a little bit.
Here is Cordova-Reid. Norsgaard just getting himself in a bit of trouble there. Has to be quicker, has to be sharper. As Onomah plays Kamara in on this left-hand side. He's inside the Brentford penalty area. Shifts it back onto his right foot. Not much in the way of options. Brentford did really, really well, actually, to get back and cut out those options.
It did.
Got back in numbers.
Norsgaard knew that the Fulham player was closing him down. He checked his shoulder, knew he was there. He has to be quicker to get on the ball, and then you can turn and try and shield it. He almost tried to shield the ball before he had it in possession and ended up losing the ball completely.
Just see this moment here where Kamara does cut back inside. So many players back, he doesn't know what to do.
No, exactly. But that's the kind of situation where a player like Mitrovic would be positioned in the central areas, able to get the ball from Kamara. At the moment, they're almost playing with Cordova-Reid almost not as a striker, and it seems to be slowing their attack down a little.
Long ball forward from Brentford this time towards Ollie Watkins, but the ball just bounces and skims away from the Brentford striker. Has been feeding off scraps all night. There's Ollie Watkins, just the one attempt on goal that I can remember anyway.
Yeah, that was from distance as well. He normally thrives on service into the penalty area more than anything else.
Been a difficult evening for the Brentford forward. Here's Onomah on the turn. Ball was bouncing. Fortunately for Brentford, he's unable to hit the target, but that will go down as a half chance for Fulham. And it all stems from a complete mess in terms of the defending. First Janssen and then Pinnock unable to deal with the ball that was in the air.
Both of those players are normally so dominant in the air as well.
Fortunately, though, they've got away from it. Oh, got away with it, I should say. David Raya with the long ball in towards Watkins. Fulham trying to take the free kick quickly. Plenty of Brentford bodies in the way, preventing that from happening. Been a cagey affair. It's been a nervy one. Understandable given what is at stake this evening for these two clubs. Neither side have played to their maximum capabilities, though. As Adoy plays Kamara in behind, dragging Pinnock out of position once again. That's Onoma, my apologies. He plays it to Adoy. Harrison Reed forced back. Now it's Tim Ream to Michael Hector. Looks as though at the moment we're heading for extra time.
Does indeed.
Ball played forward by Hector towards Kamara, who made a run in behind. But again, the pass not quite up to standards. Finds its way all the way through to David Raya in the Brentford goal. You can see Mitrovic warming up. You can see him looking on as well. I think he is desperate to get out there and try and impact this game. Here's Mark Marquez. Forward towards Canos. That's a good flick on. Lovely link up with Watkins. Comes out of that challenge again with the ball, Canos. One too many intricate passes from Brentford once again. Kearney looks to play a more direct ball over the top for Anthony Knockout, who's gone down. He's not happy with the challenge. Yellow card's going to be shown to Matthias Jensen. I think it always was going to be. Knockout's reaction, not ideal.
Oh, it did look like he clipped the Knockout. Just he's looking to make that run, just a way to secure things a little bit. Take a yellow card and slow Fulham down when they looked like they might break dangerously. Rico Henry was covering him behind though.
He was indeed.
But that might be the difference between a yellow card and a red card, to be fair.
It's a free kick to Fulham. Into the 88th minute now. Not much time left on the clock for either side to win this. Poor ball that from Tim Ream. Not sure who he was looking for. There's not even a player in the vicinity. Raya clears for Brentford. Ollie Watkins is underneath it. You can see Watkins trying to position himself on Ream. Is a lot less physical than his central defensive partner, Michael Hector. But even still, Brentford have had very little joy from that sort of pass. And it just guides the ball back to his goalkeeper, who clears. The flag's gone up against Watkins. Not for the first time this evening. Might be a huge game. There might be a lot at stake. There's no hiding from the fact that this has been pretty poor, hasn't it, Lee?
As a spectacle, it's really not been great for the neutral. I'm sure that Brentford and Fulham fans are hanging on every pass, but there's not been a lot of control really from either side. They haven't had the penetration that you really need at this level to be able to make the breakthrough, and that's something that's quite surprising given how good these two teams were in the run up to the end of the season.
Fourth official is preparing to indicate how long we're going to have added on at the end of this one. Here is Knockout. Goes past Rico Henry. Tried to find a teammate. The pass was blocked. 3 minutes added time. What happens when you don't have VAR?
Exactly.
We've got so used to seeing 6, 7, 8 minutes. Brentford have a free kick now. Into the stoppage time. 90.5 minutes played at the moment. Watkins took that down on his chest. Michael Hector adjudged to have fouled the Brentford man.
Yeah, hands on the shoulders there at the last second from Hector just pulled Watkins back a little bit. Watkins did very well to hold the ball up and initiate that contact for the foul. Very smart striker play. This is the kind of time though that completely kills the game. If Brentford or Fulham were able to score now in the last couple of minutes, you would feel like that was it.
Side Ben Rama stands over this for Brentford. Delivers it into the penalty area. Such a poor delivery. Such a poor delivery.
It was. The whole point of having the defensive line pushed that high up at free kicks is to take away the threat from that kind of ball. If Brentford were able to position themselves 5 yards higher, then they're in position to take advantage of that possibly. But as it was just a free kick to nobody.
For making a change, Alexander Mitrovic is coming on to replace Bobby the Cordova-Reid. Alexander Mitrovic, a huge goal threat. Of course, 26 goals in the Championship this season. Can he impact this game? He certainly gives Fulham a target if they wanted to go that little bit longer in terms of their approach. There he is getting involved already.
I suppose the question is just how fit is Mitrovic, though? Has he got the mobility that, I mean, he's not the most mobile of strikers in the first instance, but does he have enough to create separation from the Brentford defenders?
We shall see. Certainly a completely different proposition up front to the players he's replaced.
He certainly is.
Does he have enough in the tank to get Fulham over the line here?
You feel like if there is going to be a winner in normal time and even in extra time, it's going to be for one goal.
For sure. Be lucky if we see one, to be honest.
Well, if there's a penalty shootout, we'll see more than one goal. It's fine, Harry, don't worry.
Yeah, but we got to wait half an hour for it. David Raya takes this goal kick. Alsgaard just eased out of the way there by the Fulham defender. It's been such a poor standard. Both sides unable to create many chances. Possession has been often in their own halves, but they've been unable to create much in opposition halves. Full-time whistle's gone at Wembley. It is extra time. The Championship playoff final will be decided, if not in extra time, then by a penalty shootout. It's Brentford 0, Fulham 0. We're going to take just a momentary break and we'll be back. I know that play is going to resume straight away. We're just going to take a break for a second or so. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Total Football Analysis's live coverage of Brentford versus Fulham. It's the Championship playoff final. It's 0-0 and it's gone to extra time, which means there's another half an hour of football to be played, and potentially we could have a penalty shootout on our hands to decide which team comes up to the Premier League. Neither side will be overly pleased with the way they've performed. I'd say Fulham have probably slightly had the better of it. They've got Alexander Mitrovic on the pitch now, and perhaps he can be the difference between these two sides as the Cottagers prepare to get us back underway. Lots of players receiving instructions from their coaches. We've even seen some massages during the break. Cramp is starting to set in. It's been a difficult period, hasn't it, Lee, since the restart? Lots of games in a very short space of time, and perhaps we're seeing tired legs now, and that's why the quality is maybe lacking.
I think so. I think that a lot of the players have got to the point now where they've had that many minutes piled into these legs since the football restarted in the Championship that they're getting to the end where they really need a break from football for a few weeks just to recover. I think one last push for 30 minutes, but certainly the quality has been lower than expected, and that may be to do with tiredness more than anything else.
Agreed. Combination, in my opinion, of tiredness, nerves, so much riding on this game. I know we've said it time and time again, but there really, really is. Here is a Tom Kearney for Fulham. Twisting, turning. Who's back to Tim Ream. Here's Kearney, takes a touch. To switch the play out to this right-hand side, but Rico Henry was alert to it. Here come Brentford now with Jensen. Here comes Marcondes. Carries the ball forward, finds Sergi Canos on this right-hand side. Delivers low towards the near post, and what an opportunity that is for Ollie Watkins. He wants a corner. He's not going to get one, but that's probably the best move that Brentford have put together all evening.
Definitely, and we talked about the fact that with Canos coming on, we'd see him stretch to the outside a lot more, and we see that here. We saw him, Wembley look to cut inside whenever he took possession, but this time delivery with the right foot, and I think the Fulham defender just does enough there to put Watkins off.
It's a massive chance, a huge chance for Ollie Watkins to put Brentford in front, but it's a chance that's gone begging. Will Brentford live to regret that? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Watkins, of course, finished just a goal behind Alexander Mitrovic in the goal-scoring chart in the regular season. Not sure if the playoff goals count, though, in terms of the final total. I don't think so either, because it would be unfair, wouldn't it, on the players who don't participate in the playoffs. As Jensen looks for Watkins, Hector just guides it back to Tim Ream, and then Reed is brought down by Watkins, and Fulham have a free kick. Watkins picking him straight back up as well. Very little in that, but of course, when tired legs start to kick in, any opportunity to take a breather is most welcome.
I think it's a little bit of Fulham looking to slow the game down again and take the momentum away that Brentford have looked to build in the opening stages of this extra time period. Again, intelligent play from Harrison Reed just to slow things down and take a minute getting back up. I don't believe he was hurt for a second.
Me neither. Ball's played into the direction of Camara, putting Dalsgaard under pressure, but Dalsgaard does pretty well. He's conceded a throw-in. I'm not sure if he's won one, actually. Did it come off Camara? He has. Yeah. Brilliant work. Just over the top of the head of Sergi Canos. Here's Tom Kearney. Here's Tim Ream. Left-footed in towards the front line. I'm not sure if it was aimed for Mitrovic or Knockout. It seemed to go in between the pair. Mitrovic applauding his teammate for that. I'm not sure why.
It's probably meant in a threatening way if it came from Mitrovic, to be honest. He
exactly.
has that kind of reputation for being quite argumentative with teammates. Yeah, I think it's just high standards, so he expects a lot from himself in terms of his physical preparation. I quite believe that he would consider the same from the teammates.
No stranger to disciplinary trouble either. Alexander Mitrovic. I remember when he first came to the UK, I think he got sent off twice in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, which for a striker is incredible.
I was asked, as soon as he signed for Newcastle, I was asked for my opinion by a Newcastle fan site, and I said that I thought he'd be a fantastic signing for Newcastle United. They contacted me a couple of months later and asked if I knew how bad he was for getting sent off.
They didn't ask you that, though, did they?
No.
Exactly.
No. Will he stay on the pitch?
It's not normally on the list of questions for a striker anyway, as Camera strikes from distance. Comfortable save, though, for the Brentford goalkeeper.
Yeah. Raya's done well again this evening, this clearance side, but he was crowded a little bit by the defenders. It made it difficult for him to get good purchase in the clearance, and then recovered his position well to be in position for when the shot came in. He's been really good for Brentford this year, David Raya.
Has indeed.
And it looks like he could play in a higher level than this.
Fulham with a throw in on that far side. Kearney takes it, turns. Ream in possession now. Kearney just forced back by Emiliano Marcondes, pressing well. You can see, Fulham can have the ball in their own third, but the minute they try and cross into the next third of play, you see Brentford up the press, don't you? You see them step into those areas.
I think it's deliberate. I don't think either Michael Hector or Tim Ream are particularly good with the ball at their feet. They don't progress the ball well. They don't find good options when they're looking to play the ball through passing channels, and Brentford are aware of this, so they're quite happy to sit off and allow those two to have possession. But as soon as the ball shifts elsewhere, they start to press more ferociously.
Here's Rico Henry. Pinnacle. Play it long. Had an attacker.
There you go.
Closing in on him.
Case in point is Michael Hector just lodges the ball into the empty stand. In that position, he had a lot more time to turn away from pressure and play the ball out.
For sure. Here is Henry now. Jensen.
It's interesting, but from a squad perspective, there's no doubt that Brentford are at the moment better equipped to play at the Premier League level than Fulham are.
Here is Canos. Into Jensen, into Watkins. Here's Said Benrahma, who's been quiet for the most part. Lovely work. It's Rico Henry, cuts it back across. Jensen on the turn. Perhaps he was better leaving that for Said Benrahma. Now Fulham have an opportunity to counter-attack. Here is Josh Onoma carrying the ball forward. He's got Camera to his left. The pass was just so sloppy from Josh Onoma. And Brentford get a foot in. Fulham will come again, though. Headed back into the penalty area. There was David Raya to get a fist to it. First time we've seen the game stretched in ages.
Yep. And you can see straight away opportunities starting to appear as players get too tired to make those runs and defensive transition back into position.
Just felt like Brentford were almost trying to score the perfect goal when they could have just done so much more with that opportunity.
They could.
Hector looking to carry the ball out of defence, but again, his touch evading him. He's going to pick up a yellow card as well after catching the Brentford man. There's no doubt about it. It was a foul.
Yep. Again, the Brentford players looking surprised that that's not a sending off. But again, that's testament to the fact that we saw Rico Henry sent off for a similar kind of challenge in the playoff semi-final first leg. It was clumsy from Hector more than anything else.
Definitely not a red card in my opinion.
No.
Didn't
not in that area.
Didn't have his studs up or anything like that. Just a late, clumsy challenge. And when you're as big as Michael Hector, you steam into someone. It's going to hurt, isn't it?
Saw him play live quite a bit. He spent a period on loan up at Aberdeen, and he was always an absolute physical specimen when he was up here. But again, he could never really play those passes, and you can see that it's not something that he's added to his game in time. A good defender, good in the physical battle, good at engaging in defensive duels, but in possession for his team, he's not really the quality that you would need if you moved up at the Premier League.
Jensen stands over this free kick for Brentford. He goes out towards Said Benrahma on the left, but his touch a little bit heavy. It's going to go out for a Fulham goal kick. First half has gone surprisingly quickly.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's because there's been some action in comparison to what we saw previously.
Could end up 3-2 yet.
It could indeed. But I doubt it. Here is Joe Bryan now, urging his teammates to calm down. Sure they were doing anything in the first place. Been very little movement from either side. You're right, Lee. They're happy to let Ream and Hector have the ball. It's the likes of Kearney that they don't want to let turn and start dictating the play.
Right. As soon as they get the ball, they become more worried and the press is triggered. Even out to the right-hand side with Adori, they press him more aggressively now as well.
Kearney looks to pick out Kamara on the left. It's a good ball. Kamara looks to keep it in. Look to cut it back across the penalty area, but unfortunately for him, didn't keep it in play. There's a guy in the comments called Jesse Lingard who says, "Would you take me at Arsenal?" Clearly a joke. Not a very good one, mind you. But
could be the same gentleman who had a bet on Jesse Lingard to not score or assist for the whole season.
Yeah, what a legend.
That did not go well in the end.
Oh dear. Here's Marcondes, now Norgard. Pinnock. Ben Rama helps it on to Rico Henry. He's just pulled back there by Anthony Knockout. I think it's going to be a Brentford free kick. Is Knockout going to pick up a yellow card? Yes, he is.
Knockout was fully aware that he was beaten there for pace. Rico Henry was streaking past him. A dangerous situation, but it's an equally dangerous situation with a set piece if the delivery can be better than we've seen so far.
Slightly easier angle this though, isn't it, to get the ball into a good area than some of the free kicks they've had previously. They've been a little bit flat in terms of, well, the deliveries have been required to be a little bit flat, and those are always difficult.
Don't put it past Ben Rama to shoot from here, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't. You said that to me in the last game, and he did it as well. So
he did.
I think the one in the last game was even wider.
Yep.
Plenty of bodies in the penalty area. Mitrovic has been tasked with handling Pontus Jansson. Ben Rama dinks it in. Headed clear on the edge of the 6-yard box by Joe Bryan. Brentford with another opportunity to get the ball in the penalty area. Dalsgaard is going to launch it in. Centre-backs have stayed forward. Dalsgaard with the long throw. Way too close to the goalkeeper.
It was.
Easy gather in the end for Rodak, who looks to release camera. What on earth is David Raya doing out there? Ball's fallen to Josh Onoma. Just looks to step past his man. He's won his team a free kick.
That's the definition of sweeper keeper there from David Raya. He was a good 30 yards out of his goal.
I think it's Canos who's been shown a yellow card there for... Was it Canos who made the challenge? Just watching back. He's come on. What is he doing? He's on the halfway line practically. It's Norgard, my apologies, who's come back and made the challenge on Onoma, and he's one of those where you take all or nothing. You just got to take him.
You had to. I'm almost surprised that Raya didn't take it down on his chest and then look to play. That's just the kind of person he is.
Marcondes and Hector are involved in some sort of exchange. Marcondes has gone down holding his face. Mitrovic has just picked up a yellow card, not sure what for. All getting a little bit heated here on the Wembley pitch. That was Mitrovic. Hector's then come across to have a word.
Mitrovic pushed Marcondes down by the throat. I think he's lucky to escape the yellow card. Again, if there's VAR, that could potentially be much worse.
Sure.
That's a wrestling move.
And if he does go on to win this game for Fulham, how frustrating will that be for Thomas Frank, given what we've just seen?
Absolutely.
Pleading his innocence as well. Who are you kidding, Mitrovic? We've all seen it. Everybody except for Martin Atkinson. O'Brien with the opportunity to get the ball in the box here for Fulham. Probably the last opportunity of the half. Ball delivered left-footed. Tried to catch the goalkeeper out, and he has! Oh my word! That is a wonderful free kick from Joe Bryan. He's completely caught David Raya out, who was expecting a delivery into the penalty area. And that is a huge goal, and it's the goal that could see Fulham promoted to the Premier League. David Raya has been left with egg on his face, because Joe Bryan has completely outfoxed the Brentford goalkeeper, who was expecting a cross. My word.
That's awful goalkeeper from David Raya. We've just been praising him, saying how good he's been this season and how he could play in a higher level, but that decision making is just all wrong. Joe Bryan could recognise that he was off his line. I don't think that was the intention at the start of the free kick, but as soon as Bryan recognised that the goalkeeper was out of position and his body weight was shifting forward, he took advantage, and that's a great finish.
Unbelievable improvisation there from Joe Ryan. You can see what it means to Scott Parker.
You certainly can.
You can see what it means to everybody involved with Fulham. He's had a great season, David Raya, but he's been completely outsmarted there. And yes, I don't think he'll sleep well tonight if Brentford struggle and fail ultimately to find a way back into this game. Fulham have made a change in and amongst all of that. Ivan Cavallero has come on, just awaiting confirmation for who is for Abubakar Kamara. Wow. What a way it would be to decide this, if that is to be the only goal of the evening.
It certainly will. We're seeing Halil Deversoglu coming on now for Brentford, a forward player, very tricky, amazing in one-on-one situations. He's come on from Mattis Jensen, so obviously a change of system as Brentford are going to look to try to push forward for the goal. They have to find a way through now.
Do you have any sympathy for the goalkeeper there, Lee? Is it one of those where he's just been... It's a wonderful sort of smart play from the free kick taker?
Yeah. There's absolutely no doubt it's a very intelligent piece of play from the free kick taker there from Joe Bryan to try and just spot that movement. And as I say, as soon as a goalkeeper shifts his body weight one way, it becomes very difficult for him to shift his momentum back to get across quickly. That's exactly what we saw there. I don't feel sorry for the goalkeeper. I think that David Raya has to be better than that more than anything else. I think that he's going to go away from this feeling like he should have done much better with that free kick. But now Brentford need to come again.
Indeed, they do. Just seeing it again. He looks set as though he's going to deliver it towards that far post area. You can understand why David Raya has taken up the positioning that he has, but he can't afford to give the free kick taker that much room to aim at, that much space.
Yeah.
It's terrible, terrible goalkeeping.
It's a wonderful great free kick.
Yeah, it is. Wonderful improvisation and all of that. You can't help but feel that David Raya has got to, in particular in a game of this magnitude, do better than that, because Brentford at the moment are heading for a defeat. Got 15 minutes to save themselves. Thomas Frank there with his tactics board. Could do with a bigger one, couldn't he? I've got a bigger one than that.
I think he did have a bigger one at one game before the end of the season. I think I saw it, and it was almost half his size. Yeah, it sat in the pitch in front of him. I think at this stage now, tactics almost come out the window. Brentford have to get occupation of space in the final third. They have to find a reference point. They have to find Watkins, allow him to hold the ball up and allow players to get around him, and that's how they're going to find a breakthrough. But Fulham now are in the ascendancy.
After all of that, Lee, we're going to be denied of a penalty shootout by the
I
looks
know.
of it.
I think we were both looking forward to that. You never know, it could still come.
It could indeed. But at the moment, Joe Bryan's goal is the difference between the two sides. It's Brentford 0, Fulham 1 in the Championship playoff final. Bringing you the game via the Hot Mic app on behalf of Total Football Analysis. Brentford making a change. Rico Henry replaced by Tariq Fosu.
Fosu is an out-and-out winger, certainly not a left-back. Brentford are definitely going for it now. All their attacking options are on the pitch.
They have to. They really, really have to. We're back underway. 15 minutes for Thomas Frank's side to save themselves, as their dreams of reaching the Premier League slowly fade away. Here's Pinnock into Canos, into the penalty area towards Ollie Watkins' direction, but Tim Ream was there. Here's Knockaert, dispossessed by Canos. He's brought some energy to this Brentford side since he's come on.
Yep. He has. He's been beset by injuries this season, but he's always been a firm favourite with the Brentford fans. A player who gives us all good energy, but also great technique, and he tends to make things happen in the final third as well.
Fulham are 15 minutes away from returning to the Premier League. Can Scott Parker's side hold on? Come out on top in this West London derby. Here is Henrik Dalsgaard for Brentford. They need to get the ball forward. Is it worth pushing one of the centre-backs forward and trying to go a bit more direct, or do you think that Brentford will continue to try and play their way?
Yeah, at the moment, not yet. For the last 5 minutes, I think we'll probably see Pontus Jansson or Ethan Pinnock go into attack. But just now, we'll see Brentford look to build up.
Pinnock has come into the attack here as it's delivered low into the penalty area. Almost met there by Dervisoglu. And Hector got a massive touch just in the nick of time, I think.
We talked earlier on about Ethan Pinnock, and I did say don't be surprised if you see him pop up on the left wing, and that's exactly what happened there. The opportunity was created for the cross at the penalty area, and Hector just got his toe to the ball before it ran through to Dervisoglu.
Good defending in the end from the Fulham number 3. Of course, booked and that clumsy challenge towards the end of the 90-minute period. Here is Marcondes to Fosu. Now Pontus Jansson. We very much expect it to be one-way traffic between now and the end. Here is Dalsgaard. Delivers into the penalty area. It's too close to the goalkeeper again, though. And Rodak is in no rush.
Nope.
Drops to the ground, as most goalkeepers do in these kind of situations when they're trying to waste a few precious seconds.
It's good goalkeeping. Come out to claim the ball like that, and then it just gives your team an opportunity, as you say, just to waste a little bit of time.
It's cleared long. Don't forget, if you're watching us via YouTube, smash the like button. If you're watching us via Hot Mic, do the same. Here is Said Benrahma driving forward. Looks towards Fosu, but Fulham come away with possession. Here is Ivan Cavallero plays Knockaert in behind here. Mitrovic making a move in the centre. Knockaert with a low cross gathered by David Raya.
Good goalkeeping again there from David Raya. Read the threat, and this time he was in the right position to come out and cut the ball out as it went low towards Mitrovic.
Here is Ollie Watkins on the left-hand side for Brentford. Ball infield to Benrahma. Poor touch. Tom Kearney will come away with it, just able to slow down. Dispossessed in the end, but Fulham are readying another 2 substitutions. Hit from long range by Marcondes. That is an absolute waste.
That is a huge waste. We did say that Marcondes is likely to shoot from any distance, so we saw that there. Picked up the ball and a good opportunity to drive this team forward. He decides to shoot from 35 yards. Now Fulham are just looking to slow the game down and waste a little bit of time with these substitutions.
Josh Onoma is going to make way.
He's been excellent tonight.
Has indeed. We're going to see a change in formation maybe from Fulham here.
I think it's going to be a case of packing the penalty area more than anything else. Both Christie and Marchand are defensive players that they'll look to deny Brentford space in the final third.
Around about 10 minutes to go here at Wembley. Fulham closing in on a return to the Premier League. Dennis Odoi makes way. Or Christie, Le Marchand is coming on as well.
Dennis Odoi's done very well tonight. Been impressed with him.
As indeed, he's been one of the standout players. In what's been a largely dull affair, you can see the Fulham guys passing notes onto the pitch.
It's a printout of a tactical formation. Obviously, it's the quickest way to tell them exactly where they're supposed to be.
Reckon they got a printer on the sidelines, or was that pre-printed?
Might well have, you never know. That's a good effort. The next stage will be seeing players come on with smartphones.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a game up in Scotland once when a player from the opposition was sent on with tactical instructions on a piece of paper, and the Celtic captain, Scott Brown, grabbed a bit of paper out of the player's hand and ate it. So he wasn't able to pass on the instructions.
My word.
That's Scottish football at its best.
Lovely ball around the corner there. Another one as well. Brentford coming forward with some intent here. Here is Fosu. Can he create the space for the shots? Good defending from Le Marchand, his first contribution to the game. Helped on there
That's
by
the kind
Knockout.
of football we were expecting to see from Brentford throughout this game.
It's only taken us 110 minutes to see it. Here is a Knockout for Fulham. Unable to find Cavallero though, and Brentford can come forward again. Here's Watkins running in behind Hector here. Hector holding him. Lovely 1-2 with his teammate. Looks to put it across the penalty area. Good defending though from Christie. Had to have a second bite at the cherry to get it clear. Lots of comments coming through. Lots of you wanting Brentford to find an equaliser here. Some of you saying they've bottled it. Others urging Thomas Frank's side to find a way back into this. Well, they've got 8 minutes plus whatever's added on to do so. Otherwise, it's Fulham who will be returning to the Premier League. Janssen trying to get underneath that. Fulham unable to get it completely clear. Here's Fosu for Brentford. Forced all the way back to David Raya, who's... We've seen him in that position already tonight.
We certainly have.
Clear again. Mitrovic will chase it. Raya playing the role of the sweeper keeper at the moment. Janssen heads it on. Ball's fallen to Dervisoglu. Somehow the referee has decided to give that Fulham's way, I think. Has he? Or has he not? I thought it was a Brentford free kick, yeah.
They would have much preferred the game to play on, though, with that position with Dervisoglu having possession going into the penalty area.
Why has he pulled that back?
Yes.
Martin Atkinson. Need I say any more?
Ben Rama again, though. We haven't really seen much quality from him this evening. He hasn't shown exactly what he can do. If ever there was a time for him to show it, it's now.
Indeed. Side, Ben Rama stands over this. Straight into the wall. He wants a handball. He's not going to get one.
Poor.
Brentford needs somebody to take this game by the scruff of the neck and make something happen. They need a hero. Here's Norgard low into the penalty area, and the attacker just couldn't get his body on the end of that. It was Watkins, I think, who was flying in.
Again, yeah, it was. And that was one of the best chances that Brentford have had of the ball in the wide area. no pressure in the cross as such, and he just like looked to tease the ball across the 6-yard box, looking for the striker to get just a touch, and he couldn't get a touch on the ball.
Not happy with Norgard's delivery, and Norgard's
He's not, no.
not happy with him by the looks of it. More touch there from Cavallero on the left. Here's David Raya, clears it long. The time to send one of the centre-backs forward.
I think it might be now. To be fair, the way David Raya is playing, it might be time to send him forward.
Marek Rodak has gone down, claiming he's injured.
Yeah. Tramp from a goalkeeper. I don't think I've ever seen a goalkeeper get trapped.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? 95 Winston in the comments. He says, "Come on, Brentford. I cannot stand that Scott Parker." As I said, lots of you urging Brentford to find a way back into this game, but they haven't got very long to do it. Fulham have a throw-in on that far side. Lots of Arsenal fans joining us via the Chronicles of a Gooner channel. You can understand why they don't particularly like Scott Parker. Janssen just guides it back to David Raya.
Has to go up quickly now. Those can't be slow and getting the ball forward anymore. Brentford, they need to move the ball.
Looks as though Pinnock's the one who's going forward to try and make something happen. Here's Ben Rama in a far deeper position than Brentford would like him to be at the moment, but he's got no choice. Delivery into the box. Norgard underneath. It's fallen to Pinnock, whose effort was on target, but it was lacking any pace or any venom.
The way that he caught the ball, it just floated in towards the goalkeeper's hands. Difficult to hit the ball in that position. He did well to get over it as much as he did, to be fair.
If you haven't smashed the like button on our video, please do so between now and the end of the broadcast. Lots of comments coming through. Kevin Jean says the amount of bias there would be next season on Sky if Fulham go up because of Parker. Brentford will score on penalties. Score and win on penalties, says Lofted Plays. And Adonija says, I don't think... Oh, it's over. It's all over now. Fulham have done it, and it's Joe Bryan again. Who would have thought that Joe Bryan will be the hero this evening? But he's got his second, and Fulham have surely now secured their place back in the Premier League.
They have. There's no doubt about it now. Joe Bryan's been the hero for Fulham, and he's made things happen. This is always the danger that Brentford face when they're pushing so many men forward. You just don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Thomas Frank looks sick. Looks absolutely sick. Just seeing a replay of that. I was busy reading your comments. I do apologise. Completely misjudged that ball. Did Fosu. It was Ivan Cavallero. Does really well with it. Goes back to Tom Kearney. Finds Joe Bryan. Lovely 1-2 with Alexander Mitrovic. He takes a touch, and with his weaker right foot, he just guides it past David Raya in the Brentford goal, leaving the keeper with absolutely no chance. And it's Brentford 0, Fulham 2, and surely now it is all over.
Yeah, you feel like that has to be it now. That's a very well worked goal and good composure as well from the left back, breaking the penalty area, not to hit the ball first time in the left foot, but he allowed the goalkeeper to come out before shifting the angle and just pushing the ball past him. A great, very composed finish, but again, that's a risk that Brentford took. Fosu's in no way, shape or form a right back, and he was caught in that position as Fulham broke, and he made the mistake that led to the goal in the end.
I'm not sure what Scott Parker's dropped there, and he's gone to pick it up. His tie clip. Wonderful football from Fulham in that final third.
It was. And to be fair, over the course of the game, they've been the better team. Perhaps not over the course of the season. You would argue Brentford have been the better. But this is what the playoffs are all about. It's about these few games when teams have the opportunity to put form and previous encounters behind them and just go for it.
That's right. Mitrovic is in now. David Raya alert to it. The flag stayed down against Mitrovic, but not sure if it had it would have gone up had he made contact with the ball. Ethan Pinnock's underneath this, helps it on. Canos picks it up. Looks to go past Hector, does so with ease, stands it up into the penalty area. Dalsgaard unable to keep his header down. Sums up Brentford's night, that.
It does. It definitely does.
And you just fear for Brentford now, don't you? Because we've all been so impressed by the way they've conducted themselves this season, by the football they've played, by the squad they've managed to assemble. Given they've gone so close, though, you do expect a lot of this team to be torn apart, I should say, by some of the Premier League big boys. And you wonder if they'll ever have an opportunity like this again. Not ever, but in the near future, I don't think they will.
That's the problem. I mean, the likes of Benrahma, Watkins, you could definitely see in the Premier League next season, and it could well be worse than that for Brentford. This is the issue with their transfer model, though. They do sell. They sell their players. They sold this last season. They sold the likes of Ezri Konsa to Aston Villa. They sold Neil Mopai to Brighton in the Premier League, and then they reinvest that money and they do it intelligently. So Brentford always have a chance because of the way their model works. They'll find players to replace those that they sell. Besides Benrahma, it's a very difficult one to replace so when he's on form.
He fires towards goal, but it's nowhere near troubling Marek Rodak in the Fulham goal.
And he'll be the first one to tell you after the game that he's been off his game tonight. He hasn't been able to affect things as much as he normally would. He hasn't been able to create the openings that Brentford needed. But certainly, I can't see him being at the club next season. I think that there'll be a long line of suitors in the Premier League who are lining up at the end of this game to look to prize Benrahma away from Brentford, but he won't come cheap.
Assuming Fulham do promotion to the Premier League, do you think it will be a case of them fighting relegation again? Or do you think if Scott Parker is backed, and we know that Fulham are happy to back their managers, do you think that we would see maybe Fulham perhaps establish themselves as a Premier League side again?
I can't see it personally. I think that Fulham will be in a relegation fight next season, but so will many other teams. It all comes down to how they recruit over the next few weeks, how intelligent they are with the players that they bring in, and keeping a core of players together. But I already have concerns over their central defensive partnership. I don't think they've got quite enough quality at the Premier League level in the wide areas either. In the centre of midfield and with Mitrovic, they already have players who can hold their own at that level, so they have a chance, but they'll need to be clever with their investments.
Sure, here's Fosu. Sold the dummy. Now Pontus Jansson to fashion the space for a cross. Lays the ball inside to Dalsgaard. Back to Fosu. Benrahma. Lovely skill, but he's got so many bodies around him. Yeah. Mitrovic comes away with it for Fulham. Plays the ball for Anthony Knockaert to chase. We know he's got the pace. He's got Ivan Cavallero in space as he picked him out. It's a poor pass from Knockaert. Really poor pass.
Yeah.
Really
the
poorly
angle
executed.
On that pass was all wrong. It was too close to the goalkeeper. They able to come out and block the ball with ease in the end. It should have been all over there. It should have been 3-0 and Fulham should have been in the Premier League.
A part of me expected Knockaert to go alone and not even consider his teammate's position. Yeah. But to then pick out the pass.
Just because you used to be a striker, Harry, you would have gone yourself there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I would never have found myself there.
I would have never found myself in the defensive third, so there you go. Just a minute left of added time here at Wembley.
Brentford players are almost on their knees already. You can see them doubled over in the centre there. I think the referee would be doing everyone a service just by blowing at this point, to be honest.
Agreed. David Raya's going to take the free kick from the offside decision. Here's Benrahma. Canos into the penalty area. Norgard across the goal, and Brentford have pulled one back. It's Dalsgaard. There's a scrub going on in the goal mouth as the Fulham goalkeeper is booked, trying to prevent Brentford from getting on with it. But is there life in Thomas Frank's side yet?
It would certainly be the comeback of the ages if they were to find a way. They would be looking for that all night, though. That ball to the back post. Norsgaard was the one who got up to knock it back across goal. The right guard, Damsgaard, the right back, Damsgaard was the one who was in position to get the shot. But that wrestling match at the end after the goal was just uncalled for, to be honest. Brentford now maybe have a chance. Maybe I was wrong to say the referee should blow. Surely it's going to be time, though. They're not going to have time to go forward again, I don't think.
You'd think not. It was one
No,
of the goals.
Referee's about to blow.
He's blown up and Fulham are promoted back to the Premier League. Scott Parker's side have done it despite a scare right at the very end, but they've deserved it on the night in truth. They've been the better side, they've been the more effective, and 2 brilliant goals from Joe Bryan were the difference in the end. Fulham are back in the Premier League and Brentford hearts are broken. Lee, we said it earlier on, didn't we? I mean, Brentford were the better side throughout the course of the season, but on today's showing, you can't begrudge Fulham winning this.
Absolutely not. They came into this game. They were the better team from the start. They had a game plan. They stuck to it. They were more progressive in possession. They knew what they were trying to do with the ball, and without the ball, they were resolute defensively. They closed down side Benrahma, stopped him from getting the ball in areas that would be dangerous, and in the end, they deserved to get promoted on the basis of this one-off match. That's why some argue that the playoffs are unfair, but without the playoffs, you wouldn't have all this drama at the end of the season.
Agreed. That brings us to the end of our live broadcast this evening. A big thank you to everybody who joined us, whether it was via YouTube, whether it was via the Hot Mic app, and we're going to be broadcasting on a variety of different platforms for the new season. We're working on plans behind the scenes at the moment to bring you more coverage, better coverage, and some more sort of visuals to the whole thing as well. So lots in the pipeline. Bear with us, stay with us, give us a subscribe, give us a follow if you haven't already. Follow us at Total Analysis on Twitter. You can follow me at Harry Symeou, and you can follow Lee at FM Analysis. Check us out. We'll be back very, very soon with more. Until then, take care, and we'll speak soon. All the best.